we're back.
Action.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Booyah podcast.
Cheers.
Cheers. Thanks for joining us. Clay's back with us. Welcome back, brother.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Absolutely,
it's always
man.
a pleasure, you know.
Yeah, we got a Beatles theme tonight.
Yep.
Which is actually we haven't done in a while.
Yeah. You know, it's funny. It's like I don't know if I've done one of these with you guys or not in the past, but I did get this kind of weird deja vu when I was going through a lot of the songs.
Did you?
And I was like, I feel like because I think I knew a lot of them, and I don't know if we just randomly played a lot of them in different sets, and like maybe they were like one of the outlier songs in that set or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's sick. It's a good set.
Well, I like it because it's, you know, the Beatles music is like so, I feel like it's like riding really heavily on the vocals.
Mm-hmm.
And we're doing a lot of the Beatles covers, like a lot of the popular cover versions of their songs.
Totally, yeah.
Which kind of like lightens up, you know, the like how heavily it rides on the vocals.
And like replicating like the Beatles thing.
And just that in general.
I mean, it's like their songs are so famous that they kind of function like standards, you know, and that's why there's like a million covers of Beatles songs to choose to do, you know. I love it. I think there's so like, you know, we're not even doing a lot of the Stevie Wonder's like a couple covers, Earth, Wind and Fire, you know, like
good point.
Like
yeah,
I don't know. There's just a lot of really really good ones. But
it does make it, like you said though, like you're so used to hearing those songs a certain way. So when we're up and like running through the tunes, we're like waiting to hear all the things that we're so used to hearing on the record.
I know.
You're like,
I know, it's crazy. I think it's good to like do the cover of it because it can kind of like take the pressure off of trying to do the canonical version or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
That being said, they're fucking sick. They're so like rock and roll. And dude, all these recordings are crazy. Like just in terms of like what instruments are on like one side and what instruments are on the other side, and like the mix, it's just they're so crazy. It's like they kind of function like blueprints of a song.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And it's interesting, like because then you'll hear covers of it. It's like, you know, this is a totally valid interpretation of this song. You know, you're taking these ingredients, you're kind of combining them in a new way. You know.
Yeah.
They were like one of the first bands that like really got me to imagine what a song could be, and that's like a part of why I like it, you know.
Yeah, like
not just like what it is, which is sick, but like what it could be like in a live setting or whatever, you know.
Well, yeah, we're kind of forced to tonight, right?
Like trying to expand on that and like see where you can take it.
But they I mean, you're right, they are very much a studio band, and also the panning thing and like the way it was minimally recorded. I saw like a really funny meme on Instagram. Mm-hmm. Like Instagram must be like they gotta know that like I'm doing a Beatles tribute.
Are they on the Booyah? Like they're synced up with the Booyah cycle.
Like, Instagram's like pushing me like memes for the Beatles all week.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, like, come on. Yeah.
But the meme was hilarious, so I appreciate the meme because it was like POV, you're listening to the Beatles with only one side of your headphones.
Yeah. I've seen that. It's like random like triangle hits and shit like that. Yeah.
Like, bam! Yeah, it's like,
dude, Oh Darling was kind of like that. Like when I was listening to that earlier in the week and shit, it's like there's just like guitar on one side and piano on the other side. And it's just like if you didn't have that, it would just sound so out of context.
Yeah,
and like I don't know, just they're also really bold. Like the recordings are really bold. Like the mix choices are like I feel like really heavy-handed.
Yeah, totally.
You know, so it's like there's one guitar over here and it's fucking like bam, but just for 1 second, it's like really loud. You know?
Yeah, I mean they totally wrote the book on that, like using the studio as an instrument.
Yeah, dude, I feel like that was some of the first, like trying to go down the rabbit hole of overdubbing. And like the way that they were doing it, like the tape machines that they were using, it's just like thinking about it was definitely just like very cumbersome to make a recording like that by how we do things today. And it's like I can't believe they were able to do it. Like it's crazy.
Well, it really is a feat, right? Because like also I think that a lot of people I've talked to like studio guys and producers, and they like the concept of like I don't know what it would be called. The concept of like limiting choice.
Yeah, like constraints on yourself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
is like well, first and foremost, like really hard to like lean into today because we have so much access.
Yeah, so many options.
We've got mixing boards with hundreds of inputs. We've got every outboard piece of gear possible. We've got every Pro Tool plugin possible.
All of the different eras and methods of recording are like sort of known, and you can go back and decide to do one in one style and do another part of the song in this style, and it's like more and more options. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah,
but I feel like one of those like are you talking about like going back? It's like I think a lot of the stuff. The other thing is like they were like the biggest band in the world, right? And so it's like they get some of the first versions of pieces of equipment that allow people to fucking do that. So it's like the first couple records are on like 4-track, and then they get like 8-track for like Abbey Road and like Let It Be and shit like that. And it's like suddenly they can do stuff in stereo, and it's like they were the ones that were booking Abbey Road, and so when that equipment got invented and bought and put in there, they were the first, one of the, maybe not the actual first, but definitely one of the first big bands
to actually like implement it and put it out into the masses.
Yeah, like not many other artists were able to experiment with that shit before they did. You know what I mean? And
you see pictures from those sessions too, and they're like. Their like recording engineer is wearing like a white lab coat.
Yeah, dude, I know. They look like actual like engineers. Like a lab or something. And it's like those guys are definitely like smoking a bunch of weed there. Like what? Like did that guy smoke too? He was just like, sweet guy, it's what I got wear to work.
Well, they kind of like I feel like back then you actually had to have an engineer's brain on like how signal flow works and things too, because like. If any of those pieces of gear you're referencing like weren't working well, or they needed someone that actually can like solder things the right way.
Well, like I guess since it's like the first fucking version of a 8-track whatever, it's like probably gonna break or something. So you probably need somebody that can fix that shit up so they can like use it tomorrow or whatever. But yeah, it is wild to see them in lab coats. I don't know. Somehow it makes it extra British to me.
Yeah.
Like just like I don't know
cup
them
of tea.
Yeah, dude, it's just like
lab coat.
Like they're like the Beatles are in their like fucking cool suits and like psychedelic things, and then just like George Martin always looked pretty fly, but he looked like older kind of gentleman suit kind of fly. But all the like technicians and shit in the lab coats, that's ridiculous. It's very funny.
Like what would an album sound like today if we had only access to what they had? And you had to get more creative with how to make layers, and get more creative with panning and just subbing everything down more and more and more.
Yeah, dude. It's funny. It's like
at that point, there's no redos either, right? Like you can't redo any of your takes once it's all summed down like that.
Or if you try to, it's way easier to fuck up the good part of the recording that you don't want to fuck up.
Yeah,
like you're literally like waiting for something to press record and then stop it, or you're literally cutting a piece of tape and taping it to the other end of the tape. You know what I mean?
Sounds so stressful to me now.
Yeah, I know. They just did it. Yeah. I think that shit's cool though.
Well, what do you think about? I was playing around with this website the other day because we're like totally on the other end of the spectrum now from like how Beatles records were made. We're entering a whole new realm of like integrating AI into music production. What are your thoughts on that? I have my reservations.
I kind of think of it like drum machines.
Who's here?
Hey. Hello,
Fundo.
How we doing?
What's up, buddy?
Like you can do a lot of you can definitely do like a lot more with AI than you could with drum machines. But I feel like with the advent of drum machines, people were worried about like drummers not being able to work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like drum machines are fucking sick. And drummers sick.
It's really funny.
Equally sick, not replacing the other thing at all. You know what I mean?
It's another tool, right?
Yeah. And
as long as it's treated that way.
Yeah.
And not a way to try and emulate. Or, no one ever did a drum machine on a track to say like, I got you all fooled, you listeners. Like, this is actually a drum machine.
Yeah.
It's like obviously not trying to
I think that
back in like big band or like kind of days like that, people thought the oboe was going to replace the trumpet. A lot of trumpet players were like, yeah. Because it's like in the same kind of area. A lot of trumpet players are like, oh, it's like they're trying to take our shit, like, you know.
That's so crazy.
They're stealing our gigs.
Stealing our gigs.
Those are like strikes, trumpet
like
strikes because of the oboes.
Like orchestra shit or like big bands and stuff like that. They were like, oh, they're going to take all our gigs like by playing the oboe.
Dude, it's interesting.
Like, they didn't.
That did not work out.
It's interesting though, because things do change. You know what I mean? Like how we were just talking about, like how the Beatles made records and shit. It's like there are so many less recording studios now because people can record really good stuff with a laptop and some mics in their bedroom. And not to say that like there isn't an advantage or benefit to a really nice pro studio, but it's like there's so many less people. Like you couldn't record elsewhere. You had to go to a studio to record, you know.
Yeah.
They would all cost like, I don't know, tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars to make, you know what I mean? And it's kind of like, you know, laptop genuinely did replace that. Not saying you can't still go to studios, and I totally, like, I want to do that. Totally, my band does that, you know what I mean? But it's kind of like that mixed with also me going in and finishing or overdubbing stuff up with the laptop in my house, you know?
I think part of that too is like, you know, the bands, especially like in the golden era of like going to large recording studios for like months at a time, were financially backed by these record labels to like up front to like pay for all this.
Yeah.
And now like bands are like not being given record deals like that anymore.
It's not, here's a wad of cash, go make a record.
Right. Yeah. It's like,
and that's its own double-edged sword too. You know what I mean?
A lot of times you got to pay the record companies.
Like the fat advance is probably sick for a little while, but if you don't make up the money for that, and then you're in debt for it or something. You know what I mean? I mean, granted, I haven't had the
and sign them over, and
I certainly haven't gone
scary.
through that circumstance. I'm generalizing, and you know what I mean. But
for sure, but
I would cross that bridge and you know figure it out. You know,
make for a fun record.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like I feel like the human element with musicians and like the imperfection or just like the chaos that causes somebody to like make a decision in a given context. I think that's still going to hold value, even though you could probably have like AI make some functional version of whatever that is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you can make some sick guitar part or whatever, but it's like, well, yeah, but the value is a person did this.
Right.
Like, you know, and that, you know, I think that might, I feel like it'll be weird, but it's like you'll see bands like market and be like real people playing, you know, like
imagine that.
It's like, oh my god, yeah, I went to and they were like playing the fucking instruments,
It's
dude.
like a Cantina band in Star Wars.
yeah. But like, you know, I think that you could probably, you know, I think there'll also be people that will do incredible cool shit with AI that will like, you know, it's like the way that this person uses it or trains it or prompts it or whatever, you know, like
it's a tool.
It's like an own instrument. Yeah.
Like there's a thing with like Roger Waters talking about like when the synthesizer was a thing. It's like you can't pick up a synthesizer and be like Eric Clapton picking up a guitar. It's still a thing you have to learn how to do.
Yeah, right.
There's still an art. There's a craft to it. Like, you know.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how people manipulate AI to be an artistic expression.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, I think it's so surface level and so new that people are just seeing it as like something that puts out this really soulless like product.
Like an oboe.
yeah, dude. Actually, this would be really
album.
funny. I'm gonna drop the link to the website I'm talking about. I can't remember what it's called at the moment, but they give you like a few free runs on the website before they ask you to pay, and you could put in prompts. Like, so when I was on it, I was like, I'm getting married in a month, so I was like, write a pop punk song about marrying Naomi in one month from today. And
Naomi.
Yeah, I was like, hey, we're
1 month from today. We're getting married.
Yeah.
So I want to hear something
You
like,
can write something better than that.
give me a Skrillex like dubstep song using oboe.
Oh my god. Yeah.
And
Well, it's like, you know, like people like predicted like flying cars and shit like that. Nobody like said like memes were going to be as big of a deal as they are. And it's like this crazy combination
Memes
of
are
like
powerful,
Memes are this like juxtaposition of sometimes it's just like the worst parts of humanity, but sometimes it's like the best parts of humanity at the same
love
time.
memes.
Absolutely.
I
Fundo
love
is a
memes.
master memer.
I love me memes.
They're
But,
yeah.
like, memes can win a presidency.
Yes.
Memes
Yeah, like nobody it wasn't so obvious, you know.
What do you mean by that?
I'm just saying memes like can like get a whole bunch of people focused on one thing or something like that. Kind of like, so
Yeah.
think of it as like people would have like, posters, you post up boards like for your campaign or whatever.
True.
Now you just post a meme.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's a very shareable thing,
Yeah.
right? So if it's shareable, it gets in front of more eyes,
Mm-hmm.
and then that influences more decision making.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's like all in a real short period of time too. You know what I mean? When we were
Right.
kids,
Viral.
it wasn't memes. You
Think
know what I
about-
mean?
think about
Like,
TV ads or even like the Nixon, like, wow, we're off here.
mhm.
The Nixon Kennedy debate when
Mhm.
like it was the first time seeing a debate on TV. And Nixon looked like shit.
Mhm.
Kennedy looked dope. Like, yeah, that
Right.
guy. I like the way that guy looked.
Right. Just
Just
like
TV
in
was
like a
starting to
really
become such a big
powerful
thing.
first impression.
TV was a big reason why that election was, the way it
Mhm.
happened. Because like he looked way better than me.
I can't wait till AI JFK is like back in office.
Okay.
Like that. That's really gonna.
Yeah.
So, dude, let's talk about the Stone Show. You're wearing the shirt,
Oh,
so you all must have
yeah.
picked that up. Where
I
was
sure
it?
did. Houston, Texas. I went out there. My parents lived down there, and my girlfriend and I went down there and raged to Keith and Nick and Ryan. It was amazing. It was great. I saw them a couple years ago with my buddy Dave, like one of my best friends, and we raged hard for that show in Pittsburgh.
Well,
We were like-
Dave's dad was the guitar tech.
Gary was Keith's guitar tech, and like we had the VIP like open bar front row.
Wow.
We couldn't go
Wow.
backstage and meet them because it was like during the COVID bubble. But
Oh
Okay.
right, so they had to
Gary,
like
yeah, but we me and Dave like absolutely raged that show. They had open bar. We drank like so many beers. We moved. I
mad
I
beers.
convinced everyone.
Hell yeah!
There was a pool table. It was a Steelers stadium. It had like a lock on it. I picked it up and had the Steelers logo on it. I'm like, yo, this is a great pool table. Everybody, let's pick it up and play. So I got like 12 dudes like pick it up, like put it down, took the cover off, got the cues. They're like looking for the balls, and they're like, where are the pool balls? I'm like, oh yeah, they don't have balls because of all the glass windows in here in the open bar. I'm like, oh.
Oh.
Yeah, it makes sense. So
Yeah.
the pool table was left there. The workers came and put it back. Well, we were raging very hard, and I was roasting some bones in the pit. And the whole show, I was like, I was the only person just like passing them around for everyone because I'm just, that's what I like to do. And like near like the last song, security came and tapped me. They're like, we've been looking for you all night.
Oh shit!
I'm like, you
Like-
got me. And I put my arms out. Like, they're like, this is a no smoking venue. I'm like, well, clearly it's not, but okay. Yeah, I won't do it anymore. You got me.
Yeah.
But
And they didn't do anything. They just like, this is your one
Yeah,
warning.
it was at the end of the show. I'm like, all right, cool, I'm good.
Was there
But-
any of that this show?
And I was with my parents. This was like the Pittsburgh show is like, I was in the pit. I was crying like a baby. Like, Dave, that's fucking Mick Jagger right there. Like, I could reach out and like, yeah.
That is kind of crazy.
Not
That's
really
like
much.
seeing Santa Claus or something.
It really is. And I saw him
Dude.
this time. We were like, it was more a family, but it just hits as hard. Just like seeing them come out and they played like Tumbling Dice and Rocks Off. I was really looking for, and they played it like third song of the night, and tears are coming. Like, yeah, it's like
Yeah.
it's amazing how much they can still bring it. And like their catalog is so deep. They could have played 3 more sets for songs that everybody knows.
No repeats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
They're one of those bands that you don't even know. You don't even understand how many Stone songs
They're-
like
I
by
mean,
heart.
I don't. the
Without
whole
they're like it's like a
ranking,
Beethoven or some shit.
I don't
you
like
know
like
what I
when
mean? It's
people rank
Songbook.
bands and shit like that. But I feel like if you were to rank like the top rock and roll bands of all time, they're top 5 easily,
I mean, they've been
would agree with that.
one of or the
Very
biggest
easily.
band in the world
and they
this
haven't
entire
stopped.
time.
The bands have
Like
come and go.
like
You've seen Pink
60
Floyd.
years, the whole time.
You've
of
seen the Police.
rock,
You've seen like Aerosmith. All these bands come and go. Led Zeppelin, and they are still cranking out and like selling out 80,000 and
Mhm.
putting on just an absolutely hell. It's not a nostalgia act. My dad went there thinking it was going to be a nostalgia act, and it was not.
Mm.
It was,
So they still got like, because it becomes a nostalgia act when it doesn't feel authentic anymore.
I'd say a big part of it was putting out the new album also helped kind of make it more of like they play like 3 songs off the new album, but it was, it's going out. They have an album out. They're touring. They're kind of like
feel like they have a creative identity again.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right.
Just they're not just banking off. I mean, they can bank off that all they want, and I'd still eat it up.
But they chose not to.
They of course, but they're still going to play songs off the new album. They're still going to write new music, and that I feel like kind of keeps them going. Like Fish, for example. Like they just keep coming out more stuff every year for 40 years now. It's keeps the juices flowing.
What do you guys think is the key to sustaining a rock career like that for that long? You mentioned Stones, and you're still seeing Pink Floyd out there.
They're done.
Well, okay. The other bands
Waters
that you
is
had
out there. Gilmore tours every now and then, but yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. I think that they I feel like they're sort of an anomaly. Like they've gone through a lot of periods where like they could have broken up just for whatever reason. Just nobody fucking.
It's always
been, stayed in whatever dug in position they were in and be like, fuck you, we're not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like for whatever reason, it just didn't stay that way. But I know that they've gone through
Mick
years.
And Keith. It's like Mick and Keith really is the band.
And it's like
it's like a partnership, and Ronnie, Charlie Watts passed away, but like everyone,
and it's like Ronnie,
band,
he
but,
came
like,
into
the two
it.
Of those guys, after the Faces, after Brian Jones.
Well, and it's like while they, like 12, 15 years into them being a band,
longer than that, man.
He joined the band, and it's like granted he's been in it for about fucking 50 years
Exile,
now. But
I would say Exile was Ronnie's first album, so yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
and it's like that was what, like 74, 73 or something like that.
Around there, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like I could see why he's like not trying to. Doesn't feel like necessarily it's his band.
He's definitely if not for Ronnie Wood, I feel like the Stones would not still be touring today because he is the person like Keith's Keith. And Keith is out there. He plays, he plays what Keith plays. It's rock and roll as shit. But
it's
Ronnie,
not wrong. It's Keith.
Exactly.
Yeah,
he's gonna play it. It's his fucking song.
He's the guy.
But Ronnie is.
He did it correct first.
But Ronnie is really the guy that's
correct.
like playing like the parts that you want to hear, the shit like
the
that.
Mick Taylor shit.
The Mick Taylor, the Brian, whatever it is, yeah. But fucking yeah. If not for Ronnie Wood, that band still would not be touring today.
How was Steve Jordan with them?
Fucking fire.
Steve Jordan.
Steve Jordan crushed it. Steve Jordan. I saw him.
Did he look like sick?
Oh yeah, he had.
Like some yeah. He's a very cool looking.
He's got
dude.
so much attitude.
A new singer.
Dude.
They brought
all
in a new
night.
singer. She was absolutely fucking incredible.
For like
Chanel.
Gimme Shelter and stuff.
Yeah, she got the gig. She was on the touring, or I think she was on the Broadway for Tina Turner, the musical.
Oh, okay.
And she got called like last year to like fill in, and they fired her from the Tina Turner role. But the Stones were so impressed by her, they like signed her like on the spot. And yeah, she did Gimme Shelter and.
Yo, I didn't realize this, but
the Sweet Sounds of Heaven too.
A huge amount of Mick Jagger's like physical persona is Tina Turner, like his like fucking like all this shit. It's like so Tina Turner and Ike Turner or whatever. They did like a tour in England and
like that. That's my favorite. That's my favorite Jagger. That's the moves like Jagger, man.
I guess like they did like a tour in England in like the early '60s, and everybody went and saw them, and I guess there's just like a really big influence on Mick, and I guess I just didn't realize it, but I watched like some Tina Turner documentary, and they were talking about that. I was like, oh, I see it now, like a little bit, you know what I mean? And it's still super Mick too, you know what I mean? Like I think of him with that shit.
Well, if you look at Steven Tyler, that's all Mick.
Yeah,
Steven Tyler just pretty
sure.
much was super influenced by Mick Jagger, and does his own thing with it. But you can see like at the core, that's
I feel like Oasis is like early Stones, like early '60s. You know what I mean? Like the like this thing. I don't know, like the maybe a little Beatlesy too. I don't know.
I gotta run and do stuff. See you guys in a second.
All right, brother. Thanks for popping in. Yeah, man. That's still there on my bucket list, by the way. Gotta go to a... Have you been to a show, Stone?
No. I would be super down. Yeah.
Do you have any bucket list shows that you're looking to do?
I would love to see a proper D'Angelo show.
Me too.
I thought like I was gonna be able to see a Prince show. That was one of the. I was so surprised when he died because he just wasn't like that old. I was just like I remembered he had come to Mohegan a couple years before that, and it was just like too expensive for me to go. Did like a 3-night run or something there, and I was just like, I'm sure I'll get to see him at some point. Let's see. I don't know. I got the Chili Peppers with John Frusciante last year, and like that was a really big one because like
was that Sound on Sound?
No, it was at MetLife. Maybe it was the year before, but that was really a big deal. Like he was a really big influence on me as a guitar player, and when I got into guitar and got into him, he was like in the band, but it was like after the Stadium Arcadium tour, and they hadn't been touring, and then he like left the band.
Yeah,
and I saw them a couple times with Josh Klinghoffer, and that was always great. But it's like when he rejoined the band, it was just like I didn't think that was a possibility.
Drop everything, get those tickets.
and the thing is, it's like he could have been mediocre, and I wouldn't have cared at all.
Still, yeah.
Sort of like what they were talking, like it could have been a nostalgia act, and it's like, it's like he like opened the show with like a 10-minute guitar solo. Like he just like immediately just like whips his dick out, and it's just like I'm fucking
I'm John Frusciante.
Yeah, and it's just like me and this is like a Billy and I's like collective, like oh my god, it's happening right now.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's just like
both of you guys out there just like
it was
losing yourself.
Right it was incredible. Like during they did Parallel Universe, and it was like night at that point. And like when he like starts his guitar solo, like off in the distance, like there's like this lightning strike that like happens like on like the downbeat of like I'm like dude, it's just like I can't believe I'm seeing this right now. Like it was so good.
The rock gods, smiling down upon us.
I was like worried that it, like like I said, it could have been okay, but I was kind of worried. I was like maybe I'll have to like give him like a handicap or whatever. Give him and it was just like no, they like that was like I'd seen them 2 or 3 times before that. It was absolutely like the best. They were so tight. Like there was epic solos, but then it'd be like they're like such a like they're a 4-piece, but they were so tight with like guitar, bass, drums. Like they'd be this epic solo, and they would like go like an odd amount of times of the progression, and like John would cue Flea would cue Chad, and they'd be like right back in the verse. It'd be so tight with the transitions. Yeah, just like I just like.
Yeah, well, when
they weren't mailing it in at all. It was so dope.
Yeah. When you got only 3 people to worry about, it's less opportunity for.
It's not like a lot to hide behind. You know what I mean? It's like you're the only. Like if somebody heard a guitar fuck up, you're the only guitar player. Like there's not somebody that was him. Like like or whatever. And there was very little flubs or anything like that. And like, they're a band that like could flub a bunch. I'd be like, whatever, they're just going for it.
Oh, dude, I was watching, because we did a Chili Peppers night not too long ago, and I was studying up for that. And when I like study up for some of this stuff, I like to listen to the studio version and then find a live version on YouTube. And like see
how they interpret it, like maybe some variations or
like
whatever.
How do the writers of this song play it live, And so, oh god, dude, I was watching some sort of, I think it was like the Woodstock show that they did,
like the Mudstock one or whatever.
Dude, they came out and their first song was total
like what the fuck is going on?
It was a shit show, dude. It was so bad, and they were all looking at each other after they finally got through this opening song, and they're all just like, "Whoa." Like, we gotta tighten it up right now.
Yeah,
like,
they keep it real with
dust
that shit.
that shit off. And let's move forward
for sure.
And they did. They got through. It was better from there. But oh my god. But I saw them the first time I saw them was during their Stadium Arcadium tour.
Wow.
And
fuck yeah,
it was
that album's so good
with Frusciante, obviously, and
that's like arguably like pinnacle. Pinnacle Frusciante,
for sure. Like I was in high school when that double album came out, and it was like the soundtrack to my 4-year high school journey.
Yeah.
And the best part about that show, the thing that really sold it for me, was that the Mars Volta was the opener.
Oh, dude!
For the whole run.
Did they play anything together? I feel like Flea and John have played on some recordings of theirs.
They did not. do any collaborations
Dude, they're so
on
dope.
stage. No.
You know that song, The Widow? You know that
Yes.
first one's so fucking sick.
Yeah, I
That
went
Guitar
through
Hero song? What's that? La Via.
Elvia Kez.
Oh.
I went through a huge Mars Volta phase. Obviously, being a drummer,
Is that Thomas Pridgen on that stuff?
they have a different drummer on almost every album.
Okay.
They're one of those bands that could never really hold a drummer for that long because it's. I think, you know how like Bufundo was saying, like the Rolling Stones is really like those two guys, right? And for the Mars
like
Volta,
Oscar, right? Or what's the?
It's Omar and Cedric.
Omar, that's what I'm thinking.
And I guess it's, notoriously a tumultuous environment to be in.
They were broken up for a long time, right?
Totally,
and got back together like last year or something, right?
Yeah.
Same deal with At the Drive-In, right?
Yeah, At the Drive-In, I just like No More, I'm pretty sure. And One Arm Scissor was one of their songs, right? I don't know. But like, as a drummer, super interesting music to learn and listen to. So I was like huge into them. And so that whole show, it was just like, from me as a drummer, I'm just like locked into Chad Smith, and before that, locked into that album or that tour. I think it was Thomas Pridgen.
Yeah,
and they're just not a stadium band, man. Like there's so much notes happening for the Mars Volta in a stadium that all I heard was.
dude, that's funny because when I saw the Chili Peppers, Thundercat opened for them.
Oh yeah,
and like it's like
another
absurd
to
see Thundercat like just
like stadium setting,
just destroying reality.
Yeah,
and just like regular people are just filling the stadium. Just like what is this supposed to be happening?
Same exact reaction in the crowd.
They'll play
for
the crazy fusion shit, and then they'll stop, and Thundercat will be like, "Yeah, what the fuck is up?" Like he's very goofy.
Yeah.
He had a giant 10-foot tall inflatable cat head, and like his mouth was coming out of the or his amp was coming out of the mouth of this cat, and like that's like behind him as he's like standing. And shit,
dude, they're definitely one of those bands that takes advantage of like meme culture and social media and TikTok. Like,
I feel like he's really into anime too, and that's like such just a very visual thing, very like silly and like
caricaturized, and like a lot of comedy, like anti-comedy inserted into a lot of that stuff. But yeah, same reaction. Like for the Mars Volta opening set, people are shuffling in for the Chili Peppers, and it's a huge stadium, and there's like no articulation on all these intricate things they're playing. Yeah. So it's just this wall of sound, and everyone's like, "Who are like?
Yeah, what is going on?" They're crazy live too, right? They're jumping around and like doing crazy shit, right?
Super high energy. So people were like, some people were really into it, like me, who know the Mars Volta, and other people are just like, who the fuck are these guys?
I think the Chili Peppers like an opener like that could be challenging, I
was gonna say, good on them for giving, their
like
openers.
shoving this down like their mainstream audience's like throat kind of thing,
totally.
Because I imagine a bunch of the people's, there's 80,000 people in the stadium. I imagine like 20,000 of them probably walk away from it being like, that was fucking sick.
Yeah.
you know? And it's like, that's crazy,
right.
you know?
Yeah, I'm going to go home and listen to these guys later, see what that was all about. Because, I mean, if the Chili Peppers endorse them, they're obviously worth a listen. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Well, what else is going on here? Oh, you know what? I never mentioned Clay's birthday is tonight, midnight.
That's right.
So,
I'm going to be 33. Yeah, I don't know. I'm pumped to be fucking playing with you guys,
We got a stacked weekend for your birthday. It's you're playing here tonight. Tomorrow night.
I'm doing sound for the Dead Show.
Dead Show tomorrow night. Come out for that. Friday night.
Yep. Double duty.
We're simultaneously plugging shit now.
That's how it goes.
So Friday night is Funk Night with the Six Fox Whiskey guys and some of the Booyah guys, including myself and Clay.
And Keenan, too.
And Keenan. And you're also double duty running sound for that show.
Yep. Yeah, I'm going to get here early for that one. Get set up early,
Yeah. And then Saturday is the memorial fundraiser for Vicky Oman.
And I think there's going to be a lot of really cool musicians here for that, too. So It's going to be a really good week here. So
I'm gonna try and stop by. So we got a gig it's random, and
Mm.
I would have actually played that Saturday night show
Mm-hmm.
if I wasn't previously booked for this like random. It's a Cinco de Mayo show at Washington Depot Town Hall. Random, I know, but really cool town in Cinco de Mayo. So there'll be tequila and tacos in a town hall.
That's a winning combination for sure.
Yeah,
Tequila
in a public
tacos.
building. It's going to be great.
Awesome.
But afterwards, I'm going to try and pop by for that. Because, I know, like, everyone that's going to be there.
Exactly, yeah. And I think the music's going to be really cool, too. So yeah.
What do you want to do in this 33rd year of your life? What do you want to get? You got anything on the list that you want to get done? Or?
You know, I haven't been out of the country in a couple of years, so I wouldn't mind leaving the country, going on a trip at some point. You know,
you deserve that.
Yeah. You know, but we'll see. That'll be like in the fall or something like that. You know, it's about to be like very busy gigging season and whatnot. You know,
this is prime money making season upon us.
Yep. So that's the important part right there. But yeah, maybe in the fall or winter, have like a little trip to someplace warm or something.
Attaboy.
I think that's an easy goal to achieve too. You know, like, achievable. You know. Yeah.
Well, keep us abreast of what those plans will be.
For sure.
I'll want to hear all about it when you get back.
For sure, I will.
Dude, also, you know what I love? Speaking of like warm weather, I love hopping in the car, rolling the windows down, and driving to Booyah, and the sun is completely still up.
Dude, yeah, today was like
the windows are down and it's warm.
Yeah,
and I know that I'm about to drive over to another Booyah Wednesday.
Yeah.
Tear it up with my boys.
I know, dude. Today was a perfect example for that. It's just like being like, I can't believe it's like this outside right now. You know?
This is like reminding me that, like, you know, we've just been in this like winter hole. You know?
I know. This like I feel like today is like one of those tipping points where it's like, oh fuck, it's like here.
It's
now.
happening.
Yeah.
You know. Like
I don't know. Maybe we'll get gaslit a little bit more by the weather here. You know, maybe it'll be a couple more cold days, but it's pretty much done. You know.
Yeah, man. I mean, this is like, you know, for everyone listening, no more excuses.
No. It's party time.
It's time to get out of the house. Come out and support some live
hot
music.
dog season, you know.
Yeah, grab yourself a wiener.
Yep. Yeah, do-si-do, you know.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, I think we're ready to wrap. We got to get downstairs.
Yeah, it is literally 10:02.
Oh, God, we're running late.
Yeah.
Love you guys.
Bye. Bingo.